Okay, it's going to be a review of Survivor Series 1987, the very first Survivor Series. So, yeah, the month of November, we're going to review some classic Survivor Series shows. I got a few of them planned already. If anyone wants to request a classic Survivor Series review, I'll do whatever show gets the most requests. And yeah, man, it should be a really fun month. You know, Survivor Series has a hell of a legacy. The funny thing is, like, the pay-per-view started off as, they used to do it like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. You know, they did that for a while. I want to say the last one I remember them doing it for was 1992. But yeah, man, Survivor Series, the elimination matches, they really felt special in the beginning, and then eventually it got to a point where, Survivor Series just became like another pay-per-view, and I think there was even rumors that they were going to take it away. But thank God they never took Survivor Series away like they did with King of the Ring on pay-per-view. I mean, I just think Survivor Series is it's just got such a great history, and also there's also been some crazy things, some controversial things, some as Jim Ross actually said one time, Survivor Series is the pay-per-view where bad things usually happen, like Montreal or where Austin actually got ran over, which is more of a storyline type of thing. But but yeah, you know what? Let's not waste any more time. There's plenty of classic Survivor Series matches we'll get into as the month progresses. But when we get to Survivor Series 1987, I believe it happened in Richfield, Ohio, and it was this. This is important, man. It's an important pay-per-view. It's really like the first major non-WrestleMania pay-per-view. I mean, the Survivor Series 1987 happened before Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble was 1988. SummerSlam's first SummerSlam was 1988, and Survivor Series first happened in November of 1987. Believe it or not, and no, I mean, I'm an old guy compared to a lot of the YouTubers probably nowadays, but no, I was not watching wrestling back in 1987. But yeah, man, this is a huge excuse to get Hogan versus Andre in the same ring. It really built up, Hogan versus Andre for Saturday Night Main Event. That was the whole point of it, I guess, at the time. But yeah, first match of the night, you had King Harley Race, who I totally forgot he was in this match. King Harley Race, Hercules, Danny Davis, Outlaw Ron Bass, and the Honky Tonk Man. The funny thing is here, if you don't make it onto WrestleMania, like, sometimes you're just like really, really forgotten. Like I never remember seeing Outlaw Ron Bass, but this might have been like the only pay-per-view he showed up on. But that just shows you like the amount of attention you get, like if you were on WrestleMania 5 or you were at WrestleMania 4. All right, so those teams actually take on a star-studded lineup right here. You had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. You had the jacked up Brutus the Barber Beefcake. You had Jake the Snake Roberts. You had Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And then you had the Randy, the Macho Man Savage. So yeah, I mean, the babyface team here was incredible. I mean, they were all over as hell. Steamboat looked awesome here. I mean, anytime Jake the Snake was in the ring, the fans were going crazy when he hit the DDT. Savage was extremely over, hitting the elbow drop off the top rope. It's just a shame. Like, I kind of wish these teams were a little bit spread out so you could see, Savage take on Steamboat, like in the finals here. But you know what, man? Honky Tonk Man was the top heel. He was really kind of the last guy to get eliminated here, but he basically walked out of the match to get disqualified, so he was protected. He was the Intercontinental Champion at the time. But you know what this match really reminded me of? It really reminded me of Team Eddie versus Team Angle, where you had Eddie Guerrero, Cena, and RVD. You had all these top level baby faces that none of them got pinned, and then Angle was like the last one to just kind of walk out of the match. So it definitely reminded me of that. So the baby faces pretty much were all protected here. Honky Tonk walks out with the IC title. That's pretty much how it ends. And then the next match here, we have another Survivor Series elimination match with all females. We have the Glamour Girls, Dawn Marie, not the really hot Dawn Marie with the amazing ass, but a different Dawn Marie. We have Donna, Christianello, and Sensational Sherri versus Velvet McIntyre, Rockin, Rockin' Robin, the Jumping Bomb Angels, and the Fabulous Moolah. All right, so with this match right here, you just definitely had, yeah. I mean, who really remembers that there is a women's division at the time? Obviously, the most famous woman in the match is the Fabulous Moolah. She got a lot of heat. She really connected with the fans well. I mean, she got, sometimes when you get a lot of heat, it's definitely a compliment. Anytime she was in the ring, the crowd was really into her. So you have Sherri here starting out as a wrestler before she made the transition into managing in the WWF. Some of like the Glamour girls, they look like they should be on the Golden Girls here, but this actually was not bad. A lot of these women look kind of, past their prime at the time, but it really wasn't bad. But I'll tell you what, the Jumping Bomb Angels, I'm not so sure if these were Asian girls. I think they might have been Japanese. And, I wouldn't be surprised if they were in one of the Dream Slams, because they were incredible. I mean, they were so good that like the fans were just like, just the reaction towards them was like, whoa, like these girls are on a different level. So I thought they looked incredible in that match. But, all these women here gave a great effort. And, when you think of, when you look back at this time, you really don't think about the women at all. But, the women's division was actually pretty good for that time, I would say, based on what I saw here. But, bottom line is these Jumping Bomb Angel girls were incredible. All right, so we'll move on to next match, which was Survivor Series Elimination Tag Match. We had the Bolsheviks, Demolition, the Dream Team, the Islanders, and the Hart Foundation taking on the British Bulldogs, the Young Stallions, the Rougeaus brothers, the Killer Bees, and Strike Force, which is actually Paul Roma and I believe it was Paul Roma and Tito Santana. Man. So with this match right here, it really kind of shows how amazing the tag team division was in the 80s. Bret Hart even said that, the tag team wrestling was at its best in the 80s. And, it's hard to argue with them, man. I mean, so many great tag teams right here. I mean, you basically had the Dynamite Kid going at Bret Hart in this match. The Islanders actually looked incredible here. They were actually the last team to get eliminated. Rougeaus brothers, you remember Kevin Steen actually, that's where he actually went to school to train in Montreal with the Rougeaus brothers. Killer Bees were definitely an underrated babyface tag team at that time. Yeah, man. I mean, you just had a lot of great tag teams here, man. It was just, the match kind of dragged at certain points. I mean, it really went way too long. With this match right here, though, you get to see heel Bret Hart. I mean, this is really one of the only times you got to see Bret work as a heel on a pay-per-view. I guess WrestleMania 2 and WrestleMania 3 would be the other ones here. But, yeah, man, just great tag team work right here. Basically came down to Killer Bees ended up being the sole survivors here. I actually believe with Strike Force, they actually ended up being the survivors. But the Islanders look great here, man. Islanders were rough and rugged, athletic. They were really good. Demolition actually got counted out there. But, man, you got to see, Bret, the Hart Foundation, and the Bulldogs in the same match right here. So, yeah, just an incredible amount of tag team talent. I really feel like the one they had in 1988, that tag team Survivor Series match was definitely a lot better than this, but this was pretty solid. I just felt like there were moments where it definitely did drag though. And then you get to see $1 Million Man in a limo counting his money on Thanksgiving. And then the main event. Main event is next, right? All right, so the main event, you had Andre the Giant ravishing Rick Rude, King Kong Bundy, the Natural Butch Reed, taking on the One Man Gang. Taking on Hulk Hogan, Bam Bam Bigelow, Ken Patera, Don Morocco, The Rock, and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. But yeah, man, this is, with this match right here, you had Hogan in the ring with all of his like WrestleMania opponents up to that time. Mr. Wonderful from WrestleMania 1, King Kong Bundy from WrestleMania 2, Andre the Giant from WrestleMania 3 and WrestleMania 4. So yeah, man. This definitely created a lot of tension, a lot of drama for the Hogan and Andre the Giant rematch at the Saturday night's main event right before WrestleMania 4. The natural Butch Reed was the first one eliminated. He took a leg drop from Hogan. Really, who really dominated a lot of the match was actually the one-man gang. So, you had a lot of big men in this match, so it was really not pretty. Rick Rude was awesome, like in the beginning of the match, but he didn't last too long in it. I mean, it just, you just had a lot of Bundy and one-man gang really ganging up. Bam Bam Bigelow looked awesome, though. It actually came down to him and Andre the Giant, and it was funny. Like Bam Bam's a huge guy, like he's like a 400-pounder, but he was actually using his speed against Andre here. But yeah, man, this is a huge moment for Andre the Giant. Andre actually pins Bam Bam Bigelow with a double arm suplex to get the pinfall. So Andre the Giant is the sole survivor here. Hogan actually is on the outside, body slamming Bundy, body slamming one man gang, and then he actually gets counted out. And they say, the referee has to announce if Hogan doesn't go to the locker room, like his team would have to forfeit. So Hogan goes to the back, and Andre ended up being the sole survivor, and then Hogan comes back out with the chair, starts trying to slam Andre with the chair. So the pay-per-view ends with Hogan posing and with his music and everything. So that kind of sucked, but it was a big moment for Andre the Giant. The sole. I didn't even remember this, that Andre was the very first sole survivor in the first Survivor Series main event. So, that's pretty cool. But, the pay-per-view as a whole, I have to say, guys, it just feels very dated. Even the graphics, the picture quality, it feels very old. It feels 80s. What is it about the 80s that just screams fun? Yeah. I mean, it was a fun pay-per-view. I mean, you definitely had a lot of talent here. I just feel like some of the matches, when people rave about the old school Survivor Series matches, I think Survivor Series '88 was actually a lot better than this, though, in terms of the in-ring quality. But yeah, man, you definitely had some fun stuff on this show. Is there anything going out of your way to see is in terms of 5-star matches? Not really, but this is where you see the tradition begin of Survivor Series. So I just thought this would be a cool way to start off the month with the very first Survivor Series. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and take care. All right.